On today's show, where will the Dallas Mavericks finish in the West? I think number 2. On today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
We have Kyrie.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
Still can't eat milk.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. Best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform. Take us with you wherever you go, 5 days a week, all through the offseason. Who's doing that? Leave a 5-star review on any podcast platform, like the video on YouTube, and comment anything below. Let me know where you think the Mavs will finish in the West on Spotify and on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3 free-week trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And joining me, as always, co-host, former writer, contributor at places like Mavs.com, the Smoking Cubans fan-sided, and more. The board bet brother, the one more thing king. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Look at Smoking Cuban getting a shout out there.
Well,
nope.
I can't say you're a writer contributor at Mavs.com anymore.
That's true. I don't even really write anymore. That's kind of sad.
Oh.
But we might have something in the near future.
Ooh, that's true. That's
that
true.
you could read some writing and stuff on.
That's true. Secrets, though.
Secrets. We're so dumb.
Very dumb. Very dumb. Today, we're going to get into our board bets. We do these every year. We go back. I have these all the way back to 2017. I think I have these.
Oh, gosh.
2017 or 2018. I think I have the most recent. You want to know one of our 2018 board bets?
Luka's rookie year. All right.
Nerlens Noel gets benched at some point.
Wow.
Yes or no? That was one of our board bets. So we've been doing these for a while. We'll go through it today. We're going to do the standings from the West. And so we'll go through, we'll say where we think the Mavericks are going to finish. We'll talk about which teams are rising, which teams are falling in the West. We'll go through the whole West standings and talk about where we think teams are going to be. But let's start here, Isaac Harris. The Dallas Mavericks this season, I think, have improved across the board. Improved back to February, where they get PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. So when you're thinking about the regular season, you can't think about this Mavericks team as, oh, they won 50 games last season. No, this was a team that is now a better team, even without the offseason additions. This is a better team at the end of last season than it was in the middle or for the majority of last season. So now they get better with those guys. They add Klay Thompson. They add Najee Marshall. They add Quentin Grimes. They add Spencer Dinwiddie. I think across the board, I've gone over this numerous times on the show. You can listen to many episodes of this and talk about how and the Mavericks have gotten better across the board and improved. And so for all those reasons, I have the Dallas Mavericks, the number 2 team in the Western Conference this season.
Let's go.
It's time for Luka Doncic to have a signature regular season. We have not had that yet.
I saw a picture the other day of him with some volleyball players.
Looking good.
Looking pretty good.
I will still hold on to the fact, though, that every still image of Luka Doncic during the offseason doesn't matter because any angle can make him look like anything.
I'm just waiting for the stairs video.
Yeah, you're running stairs.
I think that.
I think it's gonna be, one of those those blow up inflatable things where you have a bungee on the back of you and you run really fast and then you let go and then it flings you back and you get Velcroed to the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be on one of those.
Or he can just run with the parachute thing on his back and probably be the
that's
same
not
thing.
as fun as what I was.
Okay, well, hold up. Who do you have finishing first?
I have the Thunder finishing first.
Yeah, me too. I think it's hard. It's hard to.
It's hard to not to.
Yeah, it's it's hard not to. Hard to not to. Hard not to.
Hard to not to.
Hey, this is why I'm back. Is to correct your grammar.
That's correct.
And all your phrases and sayings that you get mixed up.
That's true. That's what you've always done throughout the years.
But I think Dallas can go head to toe with them. And yeah. No, it's hard to pick against the Thunder for the number 1 seed. They're so young, they're so good. They did it last year. They got better with Caruso.
And
I
Hardenstein.
guess, even though Giddey was pretty good for him, and people want to hate on the Giddey trade, but no, I think Thunder finished first. And for Dallas, all the stuff that you've said about Dallas is, I mean, I felt like I was just on the show a few weeks ago and I like did the whole rant of why Dallas, like why isn't Dallas getting all the respect or respect from people when they're talking about the Western Conference for next year? Because it's like this team went to the finals, they got better for all the reasons that you said. I do think they got better. Like, I don't know if like why people are even like debating on if they got better or not. Love Derek Jones Jr., but the Mavs got better. Like overall, they got better.
That's why I take it all the way back to February, because you can't. That was just the last 2 months of the season where we saw this team really take a step forward and really be a much better team than they were throughout the regular season. You can't just look at this Mavs team as a 50-win team from last year, or a team that barely got to 50 wins and barely got to the 5th seed and didn't have home court and the whole playoffs. Oh, they're just a playoff riser team. No, this team actually has gotten better. Those 2 trades to get PJ and Gafford were significant and made this team what it was in a way, because you already had the star duo pairing of Luka and Kyrie. So you had your offense pretty much figured out. Like, all right, well, now we need a backbone. Okay, you got Gafford paired with Lively, PJ Washington paired with Derek Jones Jr., and that's your backbone. And now the Mavs backbone is the 2 centers, like we just mentioned, still there. PJ, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson's going to be part of it now. Quentin Grimes is going to be part of it now. They have a backbone still, and they have the 2 stars still.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's the debate is Dallas versus Minnesota, and for number 2, and actually gave Minnesota the slight edge for number 2.
What a hater! This guy leaves the Mavs and
stop at Dallas at 3. Get off. And but I think it's because when you look at like Anthony Edwards, you look at Towns, they have 2 really good players that are super young, and you look at Dallas. And you look at some of the games missed for Luka, some of the games missed for Kyrie. Like, I feel like you almost got to like build into it that Luka and Kyrie are going to miss a small chunk of games. I hope it's not 20 games or something like that each, but they're going to miss some games. Do they have enough to like withstand some of them? And, those guys missing some games and stuff. Yes, I think they are better at that or better suited for that on paper this coming season. But I give the slight edge to Minnesota for the overall like record in the regular season, but it's not by much. I am very confident this Mavericks team is going to be a really good team. Like, I think they're top 4. I think everybody should be considering them a top 4 in the Western Conference. If you have them like beneath 4, I'm ready to debate you on a show, because I just I don't understand it. And I think, and I said this on Subtext, with shout out to everybody who did all the questions and the
shout
Q&A.
out to the Mavs Insiders.
The Mavs Insiders through our Subtext subscription thing, which you can do that for $5 a month.
That's right.
Right? $5 a month. All right.
Yeah.
But I did this whole Q&A on there the other day, and that's what he dropped it on the screen. This is incredible. Text that number. Pause the show. Text that number right there. But I said it. I said in that Q&A that I think the Mavericks are going to have one of the best offenses that we've like ever seen. I think like comparing it to some of these like all-time offensive numbers and NBA teams, I think they're going to be right up there. I do think they're going to struggle on defense, and I think that can like hold them back. Defense and like some of the missed games from Luka and Kyrie, I think that holds them back a little bit from being like this top seed in the Western Conference. But I think they're going to be a really good team.
I think the depth is going to soften some of that, and I think that
Dwight Powell, yeah,
he's a serviceable third center. Like, if you
you want
to talk about depth, like they need him to come in and like play a little bit here and there. Like, okay, like
fancy graphics, bro.
I'm okay with that. And hey, I feel like you've been somewhere before.
No, I'm gonna call out all the new stuff. Don't even. No, put that thing back up there. Show it off. Come on.
Pause.
Come on. That's beautiful. Look at that.
Bates, don't clip that. The difference between 1, 2,
pull
and
it back out. Show it off.
The difference between 1, 2, and 3 last season, there are children listening to this. The difference between 1, 2, and 3 last season was one game. So it could be up in the air. I mean, it could be up in the air, but I do think this is the top tier plus the Nuggets. I had the Timberwolves at 3. And so coming up, let's get into what's the next tier then. Who belongs in this top tier with these 3 teams? Who it is not? We'll talk about all that and get into that and more coming up.
I don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds and things that you can use to get in on the action. Isaac, I know you've been gone for a while, but you've heard us talk about FanDuel, right?
I can talk about betting.
It's America's #1 sportsbook. We have something a little bit different for you right now. Now through September 22nd, still got like 9 days. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com. It's America's #1 sportsbook. They have all kinds of NBA odds. They have the regular season wins. They have a whole thing of Wemby specials, which I find kind of interesting if you're interested in anything like that. They also, of course, have the futures for like the regular season wins. The Mavericks were at 50.5. They're now at 49.5. It's going down, which I think is kind of strange. So all kinds of stuff at FanDuel. Again, FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook.
My first shot, my first make.
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of this show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. For your second listen, go listen to Locked On NBA. I was there with Pat the Designer, his last show with us this past Thursday. So go listen. We did a whole episode of Count It Up, which is a segment that we do on Locked On NBA. Count it up. Where I go through some of the most interesting, fun stories. We talked a lot about the Kings. We talked about some of the funny things that happened in the NBA this week. So go listen to Locked On NBA wherever you're listening, watching this. All right, Isaac.
I can't wait to hear all the new sounds you have.
Feels so good to say that when somebody's actually there.
Still can't leave me open.
Still got it.
Nope.
The next tier, I've Thunder, Mavs, and Timberwolves. The next team I have at 4 is the Nuggets. I think they're still in that top tier with these teams. I still would put Jokic, especially in a regular season context, unless you're betting on injuries from some of these guys, which I guess you could go there. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, like these guys have gotten injured before. But I still think that top 5 is going to be really, really good next season. I'm still believing in the Nuggets. I'll put them at 4.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I think for me, I just start with the top 4: OKC, Minnesota, Dallas, Denver. And then for me, it gets hard because I think there's just all these different teams that you can like convince yourself of and all this stuff. But I'm the most comfortable with that. And I think I'm the most comfortable with Denver being at 4. This makes me, it makes my heart just warm that you use tiers. And just I love it. I do feel like Denver's the most like
volatile.
Sure. Susceptible. Is that the right word? I can't remember.
I don't know what you're trying to say, so I don't know what word.
I'm trying to talk out loud that I think that I guess I could have them in the tier beneath those 3 teams because I think if there's a team to drop, it's Denver.
Volatile.
Yeah. And I just think they're gonna ask so much of these young guys, and if you believe in a Peyton Watson and Christian Brown and some of these guys, then sure. I like Strawther. But then if you're kind of iffy on Jamal Murray, I just think that they're the team. So I guess technically they should be a tier beneath this, but I'll keep them at the 4 spot. Where are you at with 5? Because I think this is where we could start the.
I almost put the Phoenix Suns at 4.
I have them at 5 too.
I almost put them at 4 because I really went back and forth because I think the Tyus Jones thing is going to be really good for them in the regular season. They got Tyus Jones. They got Mason Plumlee.
That was a bullcrap addition.
Insane to get Tyus Jones on the minimum. It should be investigated. We should send.
That's it. It's me versus the machine.
We should send the machines to go investigate.
Brendan Clean.
Brendan and now featuring Ben Garcia on Locked On Suns.
Oh, what's up, Ben? Was Ben covering the Suns for Game 7?
We did talk about it. He was not happy that day, but he respects Luka, so that's good.
Wow.
I almost want the Suns just because I think the regular season is so wild, and Jokic is out for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, the Suns are 4 and the Nuggets are 5. It doesn't make them a better team necessarily.
Yeah,
and
DeAndre.
so I did go Suns at the 5.
Yeah, I did too. And I actually debated that exact same thing, but just the fact that, KD's a little older now and all the stuff, but it's tough with Booker for me because I don't know if fans out there or listeners are in this like same spot with a player to where like when they play your team, you just really don't like them at all. And for all this stuff, but like as their like game, and like I kind of respect his game, and it's like it's so annoying.
What
And
have you
even,
done with Isaac?
even like Team USA, it's like the dude like accepted his role and like played his butt off and played defense and
I
stuff,
don't care.
all this stuff. So, but then he's also like the Pez dispenser and all this stuff, and that's tough. But I have the Suns at 5, and then I have the Memphis Grizzlies at 6.
Stop it. Why do we even do this? Why do we even do this? We did not tell each other our lists.
Get slightly back on here to do this with you.
I literally have the Grizzlies at 6.
My gosh, me too. I can't wait to see where we have the
We
Lakers.
legit haven't done a podcast we haven't consistently done a podcast for a year, and we still have groupthink. How is that possible?
We do. We got to differ on something. All right, what's your next?
Oh, no, okay, I already had Mavs at 2, and you had at 3. So at least there's something.
Whoa.
The Grizzlies rising from 13 to 5, I think is significant. I mean, it's not a guaranteed that a team rises all the way back. They are getting guys back from injury. We really don't know what the John Morant, Marcus Smart pairing is going to be like. They played like 6-7 games together last season, so that's something we've got to see too. They've got a lot of like depth, but then they've got some questionable depth here and there where you go, all right, how does this fit together? I think they're going to rely on Zach Edey to be like what Derek Lively was for the Mavs last season and play next to Jaren Jackson Jr. because that slides him into his like proper spot. And so there's a couple questions with Memphis for sure, but I think they'll bounce back.
I think they have a shot. They're locked and loaded. I think Taylor Jenkins is a really good coach. And yeah, I like their roster a lot. And even like they were bad last year, but still some of their like young guys. For a bad team, that's what you want to see is like Gigi Jackson and Aldama and like some of these guys. And it's like, all right, they got some players there. So yeah, I mean, I think they can jump right back up as if Ja and all the stuff. So
Ja back. And I think he's gonna have a lot to prove too.
All right, so that's our top 6.
That's our top 6. I have Thunder, Mavs, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Suns, Grizzlies. Who do you have at 7?
I have the Kings.
Stop it. Why? What's even the point of this?
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like
Out
you
of
guys.
here.
Isaac.
I'm not playing.
I have the Kings at 7. I have the Kings at 7. We talked about the Kings last night on Locked On NBA, and FanDuel has them 10th, like the 10th best odds to win the West. And I was like, I guess maybe to win the West, yes, that's 10th. They're 10th, but they're not the 10th team in the West, right? You add DeRozan, your team talent-wise got better. They'll be better offense-wise. They took a step back offensively last year, and I think they'll take that step back forward this year. They will not be better defensively. They have one good defensive player, maybe 2 in Fox and Keegan Murray that are going to start for them, and that's troubling. But in the regular season, like I'm fine putting them at 7. I think they're going to rack up a bunch of wins.
Yeah, I think they have a potential to like be in the like 5 or 6 just because I think they're going to be a good regular season team. Monk's back also. I know how much Slightly loves Sabonis, and I think I really do like Keegan Murray a lot. So I am kind of curious of like the DeRozan fit with De'Aaron Fox and some of that, but yeah, I like their top. I like their like top 6 or 7. So,
but now you pair like 2 of the guys that were finalists for the Clutch Player of the Year, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's got to be worth something right there. That gene is there. All right, number 8.
There's no way we're getting this one right. The same. No way. Let's go. You go. Throw it at me.
Laker girls.
Oh, get out of here! Come on.
Lakers at 8. I think that's a fair spot for them.
What? How? Why? What is
the Lakers last year won 47 games? It's not like they were a trash team.
Okay.
Who do you have?
Okay, here's my thing. And I don't even have them as a play-in team. So
you have the Lakers out of the play-in?
Yeah, I do. Is LeBron gonna die? Are they gonna start Bronny? Like what is the case for them being out of the play-in? You're gonna bank on full season of health for both AD and LeBron.
I don't need a full season to get to 8.
If you don't have a full season, who else are you banking on? God himself, Austin Reeves, that the
That's
Lakers, everybody. And
Right.
it's
Somebody's got to step up for us. Somebody's got to step up for us, Isaac.
JJ Redick, that's asking a lot for a new head coach.
New head coaches have won all the time. Jason Kidd came in.
Okay.
Steve Kerr went to the finals. David Blatt took LeBron's Cavs to the finals.
I feel like AD and LeBron had a relatively healthy season last year. And where did they finish? What place in the West last year?
They were 6th, 7th.
Bullcrap. They were in the play-in. They were 7th.
They had that's what I said. 7th.
Yeah. So another season, Darvin Ham, all this stuff. So they are, I mean, didn't we just see the other day, like Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, not healthy. Christian Wood, he's coming back with a vengeance, but he's not healthy. He's not healthy right now. Really good defensive rebounder. Look up those stats. And
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
I just don't like, I think the only case for them to be like up there is if they make some big trade at the beginning of the season or before the season. They get like a Trae Young, they get something like that. I just don't like the rest of their roster at all.
I just think they'll be okay. Like they'll just be okay. They'll be right here and they'll be okay. Team that I don't think is going to be okay is a team that I have at 9. Now I'll tell you who that team is and who's going to be out of the play-in. We'll tell you who that is coming up.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp will help you. Isaac, have you ever had a situation that you have anxiety and you just need to talk to somebody?
Yeah, a lot.
Have you been to therapy?
I have.
I have too. I have also used BetterHelp, and BetterHelp is helpful because they walk you through some of these things in life. There were times when like stuff just didn't interest me. There were times in NBA seasons where I didn't want to watch any NBA games. And I was like, okay, something's wrong with me. I started to go to therapy, and I started to work through some of the things that I needed to work through. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Just get your foot in the door. Rediscover your curiosity like I did with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today. Get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
It's great. It's great, dude. Dude, it's great. It's great. It's great, broski. Bro, name it. It's great. It's great. It's great, bro. It's great. It's great. It's great. This life's great, bro. I have no complaints. I don't.
I love that.
All right, Isaac. I love that was just like from a random Twitch stream from him, like before he like played for the Mavs again.
I didn't give you my 8th team.
Yeah, you didn't give me your 8th team. Instead of the Lakers.
Houston Rockets.
Wow. I have them out of the play-in.
Oh, come on. No, I love the roster. Ime too. Like, no.
I just don't think they're there yet.
So we can make that board bet. Rockets or Lakers, who has a better record? I say Rockets.
Better record.
You say Lakers. Well, crap. Well, you're about to do it with somebody else, because I'm gonna surprise the heck out of you with another one.
Yeah. So Lakers. I have Lakers at 8. You have Houston. The team that I have at 9, I think is in trouble. The New Orleans Pelicans have bad vibes. Bad vibes around them right now. And I have them at 9 because I respect Zion. I respect some of their talent. DeJounte Murray. Like they've got a lot of talent.
Why do we respect Zion?
He's a very good player.
Okay.
And a present father.
I didn't know you were going to go that route. I do like Zion when he's on the court, yes.
He did play a lot of games last year. He played 70 games, which is why I don't have him any higher. I may have had them higher, but man, he played 70. I just don't expect him to play 70. This Brandon Ingram thing is so weird. Just a weird bad vibes thing all around. DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, like I don't know what they're going to. Then Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, they have a lot of redundancies at positions and no centers. So they're a playing team to me.
Valanciunas gone. I had them missing also with the Lakers.
Okay. The Lakers and the Pelicans out.
Yeah. For all the reasons why you said about the Pelicans, there's just something about this is the one I honestly struggle with the Pelicans more than the Lakers. This is one I went back and forth on because there is so many dudes on the roster that I like. And the big man thing, I think is a little overhyped, but they definitely need somebody. Yeah.
It's just going to hurt them in a bunch of games.
But it's like one of those things, too, to where if Zion misses games, I still think they're, like, good. So.
If Zion misses games, Who starts for it's Ingram and
you
Trey
put
Murphy?
Yeah, you put Ingram at the 4.
So then all of a sudden you're starting Daniel Tice. It's like you're starting behind the 8 ball there. Then you have Trey Murphy and Ingram and Tice.
Herb Jones
and DeJounte. That's like your start. I mean, that's your starting.
Or CJ and DeJounte. Like, don't be disrespecting Alvarado.
I will.
Yeah. They did lose Najee Marshall, though. Okay, let me just continue on the shocking wagon here. I have the Spurs as a plan.
Oh, my God. So you have LeBron James, Zion Williamson, and Steph Curry all missing the play-in this year.
Dang it. I didn't even put the Warriors on there. My bad.
Do you even believe... As someone that I know believes in the 2006 conspiracy, that you're a 2006 conspiracy, why would the NBA let Steph Curry and LeBron miss the play-in?
No, I still have one play-in spot.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I have the Warriors.
So the Spurs at 9?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Here's my thing for the Spurs. Pop's still the coach. I think Wemby is, after the end of the season, it's like a no doubt thing that Wemby's a top 5 player in the league. I love when young teams with young stars add solid vets that are going to be in the rotation. I'm just a sucker for it. I think, like, I get it. Chris Paul's old, and I'm always a huge fan of Harrison Barnes, but I think adding both of those guys to the young core of like Wemby and all those young guys, I just think a guy like Chris Paul with Pop, like that combo is going to do wonders for Wemby and this team. And you also see the past history of when Chris Paul joins, some of these teams and the record goes up. You look at like OKC team and all of that. I think the Spurs make a leap. And I just can't believe that Pop, Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, like all they're adding like those guys. And then you're going to tell me a team with Wemby, a top 5 player, is going to be at the bottom of the conference again. I just can't.
It's 2024, right?
I'm saying adding those two things. Like, if your plan is to stay at the bottom of the conference, like, I don't think you go out and add these guys to like help your young core, and you have this top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, do you think he's a top 5 player in the league?
By the end of the season, I think he'll be a top 5 player.
Luka, Jokic, Embiid,
no,
Giannis.
We'll be taking him over Embiid by the end of the year. Wow. I think the only people like I think if he stays healthy and he stays on this path, I think the only people right now I'm like super comfortable of saying that like we'll still take over him is like Luka, Jokic, Giannis. We'll see what Ant does this year.
Yeah, I think I might take Wemby over Ant right now. Sorry, Ant.
Like, if he just stays on this path, like, it's hard to like figure out what your answer is for him.
It's gonna be so annoying for like a decade.
No, it's so freaking annoying. That the fact that he's in this state and we have to go against him for
4
so
hours
long.
down the road.
So I have the Warriors as my final play-in team.
Yeah, I have them at 10 as well. It's Curry, and you got to respect Curry. They were good when Draymond wasn't injured, and they just got a bunch of dudes, like Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, Kuminga, Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, Looney. Like, they just have a bunch of dudes, and you're like, okay, it's not moving me a lot, but it's also not making me want to like throw them completely out of the play-in.
They're going to try to like resurrect the We Believe Warriors thing. And
is Rick Carlisle going to go coach for them?
No. But this does mean I have the Lakers and Clippers missing the play-in.
That both LA teams. Also, the Clippers missing the play-in the year they opened the arena is hilarious to me, and I'm laughing in Steve Ballmer.
The hardest part for me about the Clippers not being in that is Ty Lue, because I think Ty Lue's a good coach.
Yeah.
But losing Paul George and Kawhi being still an enigma, and you're basically saying, hey, James Harden, you can have another Houston year again. I don't know what you're getting out of James Harden. Outside of that, I don't know. I just don't like the roster, to be honest.
I don't either. You go from Paul George. So basically, I had the Clippers at 13, and they go from 4 to 13 because I have the top ones we talked about: Kings, Lakers, Pelicans, Warriors is my play-in. Then I have Rockets. I have Spurs at 12. And then Clippers at 13, because I just think Harden's 35. That's gonna fall off at some point. Kawhi got pulled from the Olympics. Like that's not a good sign for me either to start the season. And you swap Paul George for Derrick Jones Jr. I think Derrick Jones Jr. was in a great spot with the Mavericks, and I think none of his talents will be used well with the Clippers. I don't.
If Harden's healthy and like plays most of the season, I think he can play really well with Harden.
Yeah,
Harden's really good
enough to get
passer
them to like 39 wins. Great.
Yeah,
That could be 13 in the West. So
the Harden Derrick Jones connection's not taking you to the top of the West. So
I don't think so.
yeah,
I don't think
so. Then we both have the Jazz and Blazers at the bottom.
But which order?
Oh, I have the Blazers as the worst team.
I think the Blazers have too much talent, and I think they've tanked on purpose too many years in a row. And I think Chauncey Billups will be coaching for his job this season.
Let's just focus on that sentence for a second. I think the Blazers have too much talent.
They do. They have a bunch of dudes.
Oh, tell me about them.
They got dominating.
Ooh, ready. Hope it doesn't snow.
No, I mean, you got Anthony Simons. You have
Simons, good.
Scoot, I think, who had a terrible most of his rookie year, but was really
if you're
good.
Selling Scoot stock, let me sell. I mean, let me buy. I'm ready.
But he was good towards the end of the season. Yeah, they still have Tybal. Would you still take Tybal on the Mavericks? Remember when that was a whole thing?
I do remember that. Couldn't talk about it.
It was killing you.
I don't really know how I feel about him. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like watch it. League Pass was not firing up for the Blazers much.
Spent too much time on this. Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant. I mean, Ayton, Donovan Clingan coming in. Like,
I do like Clingan.
They have a bunch of dudes.
All right, you did sell me on them being better than Jazz.
So then in the Jazz, it's Lauri Markkanen and
David Locke.
And John Collins. We couldn't get Julius Randle, so we settled for John. Is John Collins all right?
Rod Boone.
If Julius Randle is Coke, John Collins is Pepsi.
Yeah, their team's pretty tough. Yeah, it's gonna be a long year for David.
That's a tough one. It's Kessler. They got Kyle Filipowski.
Dude, is Kessler even good anymore? Didn't they bench him? And
yeah, I don't know what Kessler was playing summer league games in their Utah summer league.
Yeah, that's wild.
That was wild. Lauri Markkanen. You got John Collins. You have
oh no.
Okay. Do any of these wings move you in any way?
Ready.
Okay.
They still have our
Johnny Juzang.
No.
Svi Mikhailuk.
He's still in the league.
A guy from Senegal's name I don't even know. Bryce Sensabaugh.
No.
Those are Taylor Hendricks, I guess. He's 6'9".
They have Hendricks. Don't they still have Akbaji?
No.
Well, all right, never mind. Colin Sexton.
And then those are their guards. Keontae George, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and then they add Patty Mills. Like, okay, I'm feeling okay about those guards, but I'm also not feeling good enough to make up for all the lack of wings I just mentioned.
Keontae's fun. Yeah.
Tough. If you want to hear our takes on the Eastern Conference, listen to our One More Thing later today. It'll be on this feed wherever you're listening. Watching this, we'll do a One More Thing on the Eastern Conference. And Isaac, welcome back, man.
It's good to be back.
It's been great. And subscribe to the Mavs Insiders program if you want to get texts from us on Mavs alerts and rumors and more things like that. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
I beat you.